Good afternoon, guys. My name is Sandeep Dhawan, and I work as Senior Director of IT at a company named Food Authority, New York. And I was just presenting like a couple of hours ago into the Internet 2 conference on artificial intelligence and machine learning and all that stuff, because that's where I belong to. So, and that's, where I should speak, but like I got a chance to speak on food, so I said, yes, why not? Let's try, because, we IT people always try to do something. So that being said, you guys have an audience, and I'm being a presenter. We have one thing in common today, and I really wanted to let you know what it is, that you guys have no idea what I'm going to talk about, and neither do I. But I will try my best. But I will try my best, because that's what we have to do. Like, long story short, our job is to make sure, make the systems up and running like 24 hours, and unfortunately, we can't do that, So let's start. We all know that we need food to live, okay? For thousands of years, we have been developing agriculture and technology to harvest more crops in a more efficient way. Food is closely linked to the increasing population of our planet. Someone can please fix this, otherwise, yeah. Okay, yeah, so food is closely linked to the population of our planet. We all know that, okay, thank you, whoever did that, but thank you so much. Okay, so the food is closely linked to the increasing population of our planet. Okay, we need food to feed our children, and we can only bring our children to the world because we have food. Since 1960, the growth of our population has been growing by the average rate of 1.9% per annum. And at the same time, the food production has grown by 2.8%. Access to the food is a key benefit to the modern civilization. But unfortunately, there are still regions with hunger and malnutrition, and we should provide special take care of that and provide more food and proper nutrition. But with the constant efforts to ensure food security, in most part of the world, food has never been so accessible in the history of mankind, which is good, but there are still unexpected outcomes of the food availability that we should be aware of and address. So does food affect our mental well-being? Let's see. Okay, today we have a vast variety of food. Okay, but if you think about a couple of generations ago, we all would be eating the locally grown crops. Even in most part of the regions, we have a difference in diet throughout the season. And that would spend most of our time to grow food for the family and make future stocks for the family. Did Vikings ever taste avocado in salad? Or did Aztecs ever had a rye-ban in their breakfast? Highly unlikely. It's very highly unlikely. So not only the amount of food has grown over time, but the wide variety of choice, our choice has expanded as well. So do I eat to live, or I live to eat? Let's now talk about the rethinking of the food in the modern society. Traditionally, food gives us energy to eat, stay healthy, and live longer. But today we are no longer trying to survive. Okay, we want to be healthy, we want to stay longer, we want to be culturally vibrant, and we want to be socially engaged as well. Whom do you think of hearing pasta or 5 o'clock tea? According to me, food is our cultural identity. Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you ever enjoy having a cup of coffee during the break with your colleagues? Yes and no. But it is very important for our social part of our life. Does a child need a cake on the birthday to survive? Hardly. But cake makes everyone happy. It's nothing because it has a social impact. However, the more choice comes with the more responsibility. Rather than worrying about where to find food and what to eat, we are now more concerned about amount of the diet, its proper balance, and so on. And some focus on it too much and, or not care at all. So thus, food is also the reason, subject of the disorders and the addiction as well. And when I say addiction, I have a very small personal story to tell you, but that I will share with you after next couple of slides. So, okay. Yeah, so I was saying that food is a subject of disorders and addictions. And one of the example of such conception is the perception of processed food. Processing of food is nothing but a technological advance. It helps to grow food safer, preventing from bacterial pollution in particular. It also helps to stay food longer for a longer period of time, ensuring that it can be transported to other parts of the region and consumed throughout the year. And that is very important for the availability of the nutrients globally as well. On the other end, highly processed food with high fats of sugar and high fats of sugar, it's very bad for your health. And I'm not going to explain because all everybody knows, you guys are the expert at how bad is the highly processed food is. The only thing I wanted to say is we have a corresponding studies, the medical studies, which proves that it can risk your cardiovascular diseases, obesity, diabetes, and all that stuff. Yeah. Okay, so there is a very thin line, there is a very thin line between the food concerns and the eating disorders. One may be so afraid of the negative consequences of the fast food that he would start accusing other foods for the negative health outcomes. Because he is so addicted to that food and he can say some other food is for my bad health and everything. But and so-called experts develop their extreme diets without any scientific rationale or insufficient proof. They develop their own diets. Okay, but keep in mind, the strict diets limits a large amount of products which may be very essential for your body, very essential for your body. These diets supposed to keep you healthy, live longer, pure from cancer and other diseases. But these experts provides you superfood which solely cleans the organism and cure from chronic illnesses. And they also promise you single recipe for all of the people. When I say single recipe for all of the people, everybody has their own appetite. Everybody I can drink 2 beer, you can drink 6, and people spend 10 years of their life to become a doctor. But I know still people they can go for that single recipe and they think they will clean their system and they spend thousands of dollars on that. And there is no scientific reason behind that recipe. They are just wasting the money. And that being said, when I say the single recipe, that reminds me of my college days, when I was doing the graduation in India, and I was living in a hostel. So we used to have a doctor. I'm not sure whether he was a doctor or not, but let's assume he was a doctor. So no matter whatever the problem you have, whether you have a diarrhea or constipation, he has a container with the white tablets. No matter what you have, you go to him and he say, take that white tablet, that's it. So I went to him and I said, I have a stomach problem, sir. And he said, take this tablet. And this is how he was convincing me. Sandeep, everything will be all right. Take it and go. Take this tablet and go. So he was just providing a single recipe for all of your problem, which is not good. So what I'm trying to say here is extreme diets are not healthy, and neither they support the long-term mental well-being of the people. Okay. These are some of the examples of recent diets, like, and their health outcomes. Like first is the intermittent fasting. We all know that, like it's a meal timing schedule that cycles between the volunteer fasting and non-fasting over a given period of time. And the other one is the juice involves only drinking juice instead of, or very limiting to no food, no solid food. And people just don't think. They keep on eating and drinking alcohol and everything. They mess up with their body and they start drinking juice. Somehow their body says to them, did you ask me when you were eating whatever was not needed? But they don't listen. Like, and suddenly the body says, now you are going on to the juice diet, like, and you think like, I don't need the essential vitamins, but they don't care. Like, I am very against with that kind of juice diets. And let's go to the very popular diet, the keto diet, which is nothing but a high fat and low carb eating pattern. Okay, the high fat consumption triggers ketosis, which is nothing but the state of the body when your body releases ketones. It is a type of juice that your liver produces from the fat instead of glucose or sugar from the carb. So being very popular keto diet can cause you like kidney stones, constipation, nutrient deficiencies, and other failure of organs as well. And strict diet like keto can also cause social isolation and the food disordering as well. So, you have to make up your mind what exactly, you guys are thinking to do. Okay, so the mental well-being is impossible without the long-term sustainable nutrients. Okay, so the extreme diet is a short-term measure. It may be helpful for you for the short measure, like if you want to like stay healthy or look better for some kind of party or something, it's okay. That's okay for the couple of weeks. But for the long terms, the outcomes are very negative. I should say the super negative, ranging from, sorry, I'm repeating again, ranging from lack of nutrients, failure of the organs, and even the body functions. On the other hand, like healthy eating habits and positive diet, balanced diet with enough of the physical activity remains the secret of your good health. Nobody can beat that. No diet can beat that. So, yeah, and as the mental and food and mental well-being are very closely connected. And I mentioned in my slide as well, like mental being is impossible without long-term sustainable nutrition, because the amount of food you eat, that determines the insulin level, the blood pressure level, and other nutrients, what you are going and what you are not going to do. And even the food and the nutrition also determine the more complex processes like the e-hormonal or the neural pathways, which we can only try to understand from the medical point of view. And no matter what you do, whether you want to do a dieting or whether you don't want to do a dieting, make sure like your brain is not addicting to anything. Like, that's something, we all know that sometimes if you are, I'm not talking about the drug addiction, but like if you are addicted to anything like coffee or a beer, and sometimes you think like your brain knows that I should not do this, I can avoid it, but you still can't avoid that. You still go ahead and buy that stuff, which you should not. And that's what I said, like I'll take 1 minute, and that's my personal story I really would like to share. You feel funny, but at that time it was a very bad experience from me. So I came to US in end of 2012, and I did not have iPhone at that time. So I'm not sure if you guys been to Manhattan, New York or not, but like Manhattan, New York is divided into two parts: avenues, which is quite a long walk, and the streets. Okay? So I came back from my interview. That was 1.5 hour interview from the HR. So you guys can imagine. I did not eat anything since morning. And I came out, and my brain was saying, I have to drink the coffee. And I could have easily avoided it, but I said, no, I really want to have coffee no matter what. So I went to the cart guy. I'm not sure he was from Middle East or something. Usually these people don't say no. Like, the cart, the truck, he was selling egg rolls and something. I said, excuse me. He said, yes. I said, do you know if there is any Starbucks nearby? He said, yes, of course, I do. I said, could you please tell me where it is? He said, yes, sure. I said, then tell me where it is. And he said, okay, go straight, turn right onto the 5th Avenue, and when the avenue is finished, turn right onto the 23rd Street. At the end of the street, you will see the Starbucks on your right-hand side. There was no point of doubting him, but it was around a mile walk. But my brain was keep on saying that I needed a coffee. So okay, I went straight, turned right onto the 5th Avenue, quite a long walk, turned right into the 23rd Street. Towards the end, I'm standing in front of the wall. There was no Starbucks over there. So I got so mad. Who lies for the Starbucks? So I went back. I especially went back and I said, again, another mile walk, and which I could have easily avoided, if I was not addicted. So I went back and I said to the guy, excuse me, dude, there is no Starbucks over there, man. And instead of saying sorry, or instead of saying, sorry, man, I apologize, he said, I don't know. It was there 2 weeks ago. I said, what do you mean? That's not a bike or a car stolen by someone. What do you mean it was there 2 weeks ago? So, and the next day, I learned my lesson and I did my step. So do you guys any idea what I did next day? Any idea what I did next day? Because I learned my lesson of my addiction. What I did next day? Yeah, I bought an iPhone, so I don't have to ask anybody for the Starbucks. So, so that's what I'm saying. Try to train your brain from the meditation that, you are in the situations where your body says, I need something, but you can easily avoid. That's a period of time and nothing else. If that time passes, you're all good. Your body is all good. But sometimes, it's hard to avoid. I'm just saying, but because I experienced myself. And that's my last slide. Role of the food industry. Why do you think the food and the awareness industry should be aware of the link between the food, between the nutrition and the mental well-being? Do you have any idea why the food industry should be aware of the link between the mental well-being and the nutrition? Okay, so the answer is very, very general, because we live in digital and informational era, and where people value the mental health not less than physical. And understanding of food is a great impact, very great impact, because if you know what you are eating, what you're supposed to eat, what you're not supposed to eat, that will change your life. That has the capability to change your life. And by considering the importance, the food industry should be aware to meet the demands and to address the challenges of demand that will be coming in the future. And the industry could also provide, could contribute with the leadership in the promotion of healthy and positive eating habits. That's what we are missing. Nobody promotes that. They promote the diet, but they don't promote the healthy and the positive eating habits. If you do that, you don't need any kind of diet at all. Not at all, as I said. And you don't have to spend any money on that, buying that super recipes. And they can also, the food industry can also contribute to make sure that we have the availability of the essential products throughout a year. Okay, and my last point is the investment and research and development is also very important by considering the growth of the population, and to need the ensure of the high yields, and to need the increasing the population, so that's something is very important. We should spend money in research and development to find it out how to make that promotion, how to get that people aware so they know what we should eat and what we should not eat. And rather than going on to the diet, we should stick with our the daily routine of the good eating habits, of course with enough of the physical exercises. And by saying that, I'll end my I'll end my presentation by the Malcolm Forbes words that food may be essential as fuel for the body, but good fuel is fuel for the soul. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Yeah. I'm not sure if I said that, do you have any questions? Because as I said, like I work in IT and you are the food experts. But if you would like to add anything that you feel that it's valuable for all of them, then please feel free to go ahead and, add your valuable feedback. Nothing? Okay. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Take care.